Well, this dude doesn't stop trying, does he, eh? So here he is with a new series, 10 things Insert Pro does that you should do too. In this episode, we are covering Broski. If you've never heard of him, here's a small summary. He's an awesome human being, loves anime, is a technical Street Fighter player, and he mains A.K.I. Just go check out his streams or YouTube channel. All of his links are in the description. So without further smudge, here are 10 things Broski does that you should do too. Number 1. Broski likes to input grab after his perfect jumping heavy punch whips. For all the A.K.I mains out there, you know how frustrating it can get when you land your heavy serpent lash as a setup for your safe jump, but when you jump, you don't know whether the person will backrise or recover in place. What ends up happening is that if you do the wrong move, your opponent gets to reset into neutral or worse, he punish counters you. How you can cover for this wrong guess is by always using jumping heavy punch and immediately inputting grab after the jump. If your opponent recovered in place, you get to grab him. If your opponent did a backward recovery, you get to continue your offensive pressure either with a grab or like what Broski likes to do, forward heavy kick. Only thing you need to take into consideration is that if your opponent likes to wake up and press buttons, if you guess wrong, you will get punish counter. So one thing you can do instead is use medium snake step for OK situations, or you can set up a meeting with heavy punch and crush heavy kick. The heavy punch will space you just enough for you to get a counter hit confirmed into super if needed. Or if you want to get up close and personal, mix it up a bit with crouching heavy punch into meaty medium punch. From there you can build on your pressure. All of these variations are drive impact proof except for the heavy punch into crouching heavy kick. This one whiffs if your opponent wakes up drive impact, leaving you open for a punish counter. A good thing to mention as well is that if you are in lower diamond or lower rank than that, your opponents will wake up drive impact a lot. So don't use jumping heavy punch into forward heavy kick like Broski does. Rather go for jump heavy punch into anything that's standing light kick to medium punch, so you can either cancel into drive impact or into a super. So now we're hitting number 2, OD Nightshade into Orchid Spring. This is A.K.I's safest way to poison her opponents. OD Fireball dash in and use Toxic Blossom. The great thing about this is that you use 2 bars that quickly recover and your opponent can only block. If your opponent tries to drive impact you, you can react to it. And if the opponent jumps, anti-air with heavy serpent flash will get you a nice combo down. One of the options that beats this tactic though is drive reversal. If your opponent likes to use this as an answer, bait it out with OD Fireball, dash up and block. This way you can start your offense with standing medium punch, which will punish counter your opponent, giving you ample routes for optimal damage combos. So let's jump to number 3, which is standing medium kick to set up CA confirm. Now this is one of my favorites. Broski likes to use this tool as a footsie poke, especially when his opponent's life is at 40 to 50%. He uses the medium kick punish counter state and inputs the CA while his opponent is still in recovery. I myself find this method a bit difficult as I struggle a bit with buffering this move at the right time. To me it feels a bit off. So I came up with another way to do this medium kick into CA. By just adding crouching heavy kick and then confirming to super, I can land this more consistent. And the nice thing about this is that if you miss this confirm, it won't come out, so you're safe. Only drawback to my method is that you have to be a bit closer for it to work, otherwise your crouching heavy kick will whiff. You can use this especially when your opponent is trying to poke with a crouching medium punch or standing heavy punch. Another way I like to use standing medium kick punish counter is when I try to get out of the corner. When I knock my opponent down and I use heavy snake step to slide out, most of the time my opponents either try to grab me, use a light punch, or even drive impact. Medium kick works like a charm since it's 8 frame startup now, but just be careful for the drive impact. If you sense one incoming, change the standing medium kick for crouching medium kick and cancel into super. This is something what Hikaru likes to do as well, but this episode is about Broski, so I'll keep it about it. Right, so number 4 is one of the most difficult ones, and it's interrupting drive rushes. When analyzing Broski's fighting style, I realized that most of the time, if he blocked a low medium kick, he would interrupt the drive rush in with crouching light punch. After testing this for myself in the lab, I noticed that the only way for you to do this consistently is to use it only when your opponent drive rushes in during D scenario. Number 1, opponent drive rushes in and presses an 8 frames or higher button. If you time crouch and light punch at the right time or mash it, you will interrupt this move and get a counter combo out of it. Number 2, opponent drive rushes in and delays his attacks after drive rush. And number 3, when opponent drive rushes in and tries to grab you. Just know that this one requires a lot of practice and it's not safe to wing it from the start. So I would recommend to observe your opponent first to see what he does after you've blocked his crouching medium kick drive rush in, and store this information so you can interrupt him later on when he does it again. Number 5 is pretty simple, and this is faking Serpent Lash. Broski loves to fake a Serpent Lash by pressing light punch like all Ryus and Gals do to make their opponents jump or react to them. This helps him land the Serpent Lash in neutral more often. I've seen him do this on purpose, but sometimes according to his input, it looks like the jab came out due to a missed input for Nightshade. That being said, I'm a sucker at this game, and it has happened countless of times that when I walk backwards and crouch and want to bait out with a jab, I accidentally input Super Toon or mess up with a Nightshade. A way to beat this, and this is exactly what Broski does, is to input forward to cancel out a down back motion, then press back before pressing the jab. This is way safer as it cancels out any specials you don't want to come. So make sure to practice this when you have the time. So let's get back into more technical stuff. Number 6, neutral jump heavy punch when having opponent in the corner. At the time of me posting this video, I'm pretty sure that Broski just started using this technique. By neutral jumping heavy punch after knocking down your opponent in the corner, after the opponent blocks, you can go for a grab or a shimmy. But that's not all. The nicest thing about this one is that if your opponent perfect parries, he can't grab you and put you in the corner because you'll be too far away, so you can punish him and get a juicy corner combo afterwards. Keep in mind that this only works when you do 2 lights into medium Serpent Lash while in the corner. It doesn't work with heavy Serpent Lash, it doesn't work with 1 light, and it surely doesn't work with 3 lights. 3 lights will leave you too far for the safe jump to hit, and 1 light too close. And last but not least, our capybara lover Broski likes to use light snake step after he knocks someone down in the corner. This tech gives you the chance to catch your opponent if he tries to jump out, and if he tries to jump back, you can drive rush in with standing heavy kick and do your bread and butter combo. And when your opponent attacks, does a light jab drive reversal, or even an ODDP, you can punish counter with light Serpent Lash and get your bread and butter combo or a CA finisher. This is an awesome way to keep your corner pressure while giving your opponent the illusion that he's a bit safer in the corner. Other stuff that Broski does but I'm not going to cover are he likes to set up fireball and covered crouch if opponent jump. He's got one hell of a burnout string of crouch and light into medium punch, and he switches his approach depending on the matchup, either using heel strike or light cruel fake. And when Broski has his opponent close to or in a corner, he uses as much resources when the opponent is poisoned before he finishes his combo with medium Serpent Lash. This because the medium Serpent Lash resets him for a new combo string. So don't be shy to lap your own version of this, because you might be bitching a lot of damage if you don't. I hope you guys like this content. If you do, please just leave a like. Take care guys, and hopefully I'll catch you in the streets. Dane.